kick it. And yeah, the whole process was incredibly shocking to me and everyone I know. I'm not like that kind of person. I think that's a really common experience in this world. People who are not, we're not drug people necessarily. We don't have a history. I don't have a family history or anything like that. I don't have the addict gene where, I have a beer and can't stop myself. That's not me at all. But this substance was just so devastatingly addictive that it completely uprooted my life for years. And I'm very thankful.
Okay, my name's Ramey. I'm 35. I am 36. God damn it. I'm from South Louisiana. I've been in this little crew for quite a bit now, quite a few months. I'll just get started. I wrote some points down. I am 3 days away from 9 months sober from Kratom. So I'm just going to kind of roll with my little backstory best I can. And I was chilling on it. I got nervous all of a sudden, but it's going to be all right because I fucking know them. So yeah.
It definitely builds like empathy when you see somebody else going through it, especially when it's your loved one. And it's like, it was almost harder watching you go through withdrawals than my own withdrawals, because it was like, you can't do anything about it. I mean, you can't really do anything about it anyways, but like seeing somebody else go through it and suffer, or like with your hurt shoulder.
That's how I felt about you.
Yeah.
You were like, I'm like, my heart's racing, my head's pounding, I feel like shit. I'm like, oh my gosh, we need to.
And I was psyching you up because I quit first and then you had yours afterwards. You're like, oh, is it going to be this bad?
Yeah, I know, that is true. I wasn't weighing my Kratom until I was like, it's when I started my quitting journey. I was freaking like shocked. I weighed it just according to how I eyeballed it throughout the day. And I was taking like 55 grams a day, which I mean, for me, like so a protein shake has like 35 grams?
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh my God. I don't know if that means anything, you guys. Sorry. That's my, but anyways, basically I was like, oh my gosh. So when I figured that out, I decided within 2 weeks from that day that I was going to take down 10 milligrams.
First thing I want to talk about is amino acids. And the reason why I want to talk about them first is because they're my favorite and you need to start taking them the soonest so that they have time to build up in your brain and start doing their work. They're not going to work overnight, you guys. So keep that in mind. The first one is going to be DLPA. This one helps your brain to produce dopamine again, endorphins and dopamine. So some people say that this produces a little bit of anxiety for them. For me, I don't have that issue. I was able to take large doses of this and started, a couple of months before I stopped. If I had one supplement to recommend out of everything I'm about to show you guys, just one, this would be the one, DLPA. So a lot of people experience hormonal issues with Kratom, especially women. This is a supplement that is helpful with that, as well as mood and stress. And also black cohosh can be helpful with hormonal issues, as well as like night sweats. Speaking of hormonal issues that can lead to hair loss along with dehydration, this is a collagen that I really like to give my hair and skin a boost whenever I came off of Kratom, because Kratom really did a number on those. And also this is another collagen that I take that has another one of our favorite supplements included, ashwagandha. A lot of people find ashwagandha super helpful, so you can also take that one on its own.
And so if you have a podcast and you want to have one of our amazing guests on, you can reach out to us on the website there. You can click the contact us button and fill out the form, and our media team will reach out to you and book a podcast. So yeah, if any of you out there with a podcast that were selling Kratom, I'm looking at you, Joe Rogan. Maybe you can have somebody on from the Quitting Kratom community and see the people that are getting better now after all of you were selling people on the natural alternative to energy drinks that so many people lied about.
And there was an opportunity to go on a mission trip to Mexico to build a house for a family, but there was no way that I was going to be able to go on Kratom. So I just like felt terrible about that. So I said, it wasn't like a hard thing. Like, I'm going to go on this mission trip and I'm going to quit Kratom. It was more or less like, if I'm done with Kratom in time, I'll sign up for this mission trip. So again, on the Facebook page, reaching out to people. And I talked to the guy, and he had given me some information on a center that would like detox you off Kratom. And I called him, and they're like, it's like $7,000. I'm like, well, I can't do that. Okay. So that kind of like gave me a step to start calling like doctors around my area. So that day I was just like calling people. Like I was desperate. I was like, I have to get off of this. Like, I just, this is it. Like, I cannot do it anymore. So that's kind of the point that it led me to.
And eventually I was using so much of it that and the anxiety, it was just like, the shaking, and it finally led to having seizures from the Kratom powder. And this was about at like the 4-year mark or so. And I remember having my first, they were grand mal seizures, and my kids were nearby, and so much guilt and shame from that too. I mean, just like taking Kratom to excess to have a seizure. My kids were there to witness it. Had my son with me, who was like 6 months old at the time, and I walked in and I found my mom. She had overdosed and had passed away. Found her body. Horribly, horribly traumatic. I was in shock, and it was, that was horrible. But also in the back of my mind, I was thinking, how am I going to sustain my pill addiction now that she had passed? I mean, that's like horrific to even think that I was in that state of mind, but as an addict, that did cross my mind.
Yeah, I mean, I can't believe I chose to go through this completely by myself the first time, and that made it just 1,000 times harder. It was so miserable. And yeah, it was, I just had no idea that anything like this was out there. And yeah, I think all the time about probably a full year of my life that was just miserable, that would have been just 1,000 times better if I had known that there were not only other people out there with a similar experience, but people who wanted to help and wanted to connect and talk and share information.
And another really nice distinction I think that is unique is that we openly encourage people that are still using Kratom or are tapering off of Kratom to share in the meetings. Obviously we ask people are mindful of triggering people by talking about their usage, but we definitely want people to feel like they can open up about what's going on with them, because I think that's a big part of sort of that first step is like coming in and we really kind of flip it on its head of like, instead of coming in and just being like, wait until you have time before you talk. We're like, no, jump in, start talking, like get some of that stuff out. And I think that's really been helpful for a lot of people as well.
She had never heard of it. None of us had really heard about it. We thought that it was like an all natural plant, non-habit forming. The person at the gas station described it as the same as a coffee tree. So it would be just as habit forming as caffeine. And so that's what I believed. And once I obviously started taking it, I knew that I probably shouldn't have been taking it. Or I wouldn't have brought it up to my sponsor, right? So that continued on for a little while. And then I started buying it in bulk from an online vendor in the form of just the plain leaf powder. So And that is where my Kratom journey started. And I took Kratom for many years after that. Altogether, I was on Kratom for almost 9 years.
Thank you. Yeah. I know it's so interesting to hear how many people had kind of that slow burn with their addiction, where because it is, we feel like we're able to live our life normally, especially, I'm the same with you, like coming from a drug background where I had been, dealing with harder drugs and alcohol and things that were really noticeably destroying my life in an outward sense. But with Kratom, I felt like I was able to hold it together in such a way and was able to put on this outward appearance where things were, going just fine.
And I remember, I don't think I've had a sober Christmas in years. And this year, I wouldn't say it was super easy to be with some family. That can be triggering or challenging, but I was actually able to process, I think, a little bit more now, like why it's a challenge for me. And so I kind of walked away with the holidays going, okay, maybe I need to work on some resentment, some things going on, setting up more boundaries. And it's like, I'm actually able to now, instead of masking all those emotions, it's like I'm actually able to tackle them. So it was eye-opening, and we survived and got through it. So
That's awesome.
like it was exhausting how the cycle was of seeking it in, getting it out, keeping it hidden, like trying to like mask when I wasn't feeling well because I would get sick all the time, and I couldn't eat half the time. And my husband still to this day is like, when I can't eat, he gets like suspicious. Like he knows I'm not doing it, but it's like he's triggered by me not being able to eat because that happened so much.
But first of all, at this point, I was waking up in withdrawal every day. So it was a lot of flu-like symptoms, runny nose, like feeling very nauseous from all the consumption of all of the Feel Frees, the shakes, the chills, intense sweating and like night sweats. I would wake up and it was nasty. My sweat literally smelled like ammonia, and I would like have to wash my sheets a lot and change clothes and everything. Had a lot of the like dry, flaky skin from I think it's primarily from the kava and Feel Free. Just extreme amounts of like impending doom and depression, and just dopamine was completely gone. Again, I could not even have a normal conversation with someone unless I took a Feel Free. But yeah, and the detox itself. So I quit cold turkey, which again, like I don't think tapering or cold turkey is better than the other. I think it has to be completely up to the specific individual, what is best for you, and always consult a medical professional. But for me, I quit cold turkey. I did not do any medicated assisted treatment. I wanted to be just done with every single thing out of my system. That was my personal choice. And for me, that's what worked best. The withdrawals were really bad physically for about 3 days. But after the third day, I felt like a significant turn in being able to actually get out of bed, walk around a little bit, like maybe go outside. And then probably after about 2 weeks, I was physically back to myself again. And then came the mental withdrawals, which were a battle in themselves. But that's kind of what the physical withdrawals looked like for me. And it is the most honest like version of a group or like accountability community I've ever seen. Like we really talk about, we call it the last 10%, the things that we usually feel like we would take to the grave with us, but we confess to other people. And seeing that level of confession just with women that I've never seen before, like, I mean, someone had said, this is what church is supposed to feel like. And I'm like, yes, that is so very true. Like it's supposed to be this just really authentic, vulnerable confession to one another. And I think that's what really gets down to that root cause of the addiction. And I mean, for me, recovery is something that I'll be in for the rest of my life.
And I was like, I know the depths of hell it took me to. And like, who am I to not share my truth? And so like, at first it was really scary, but I got like, you have to be honest in recovery. And I felt like I was still holding back. And I felt like, you know what? Who cares if people laugh at me? Like, hopefully one day I'll be able to reach my hand out to them if they ever need it and have that experience. And then like, I realized that there were so many people that were in the rooms. Like I have one friend currently who, like, I tried to get him to come to our community. And so it started to give me just like a glimmer of hope where it was like, I didn't get off this shit to be like this. Like, I'm going to figure out a way to like find my joy and happiness again, like no matter what. Like, and it like slowly but surely started building. And like, I don't know, it just, and like, it's funny because I'm so talkative today, like talk to everyone. And like, I hid in our meetings, not that like you could, because there was like 7 people or something, but like I wouldn't talk.
You know, they can't say that it cures a disease, but anything else they say, we just believe them. And you can sell your product in any store, and we just take your word for it. That's the official legal process for supplements. Like, cool story, bro. We believe you. So like a lot of things in the US, this is completely different than every other country on earth.
And at like midnight, they had a come to Jesus moment. They were like, do you want your life back? Do you want your life back? Like, do you want to be sober? That was your goal. And I'm just like, oh, damn, you guys are right. My buddy said, should I come help you flush those right now? And I was like, yes, absolutely. You should come help me flush them. He came over. He went into the bathroom. He was like, sir, dump this in. Dumped it in the toilet. He was like, push the lever now. I pushed the lever. He was like, say goodbye forever. And I was like, yeah, goodbye forever. But now looking back, I was so stupid. I remember just bumbling around inside of Cubase and just like, you know, I was connected to the music, but I was just dumb, you know, never finished anything, never sang anything. So it's better on this side when you have to make a conscious connection with it.
Absolutely. Yeah, man. Yeah, so many good things in there. It's crazy how similar stories are when we hear people share the progression of the addiction and the way that when we first are introduced to Kratom, it's like seems like it's kind of this mellow thing, you know, for a lot of people at first. They're like, I don't even know if this is working.